Hey guys, what's cracking? Godsfed here, coming at you with another round of Divine Season 3 reveals. That's right, we've got more fresh and hot and ready out of the oven to us, the loving audience. And there's some really good reveals too, might I say. First off, we've got a new trailer. That's right, some new 1 minute and 19 seconds of goodness for us. And then we've got some more character profiles to go over for some of the remaining characters here. Of course, we got one for Suzune, as you can see up there. Etica, and there's a few of the returning cast to go over as well. And then finally, we've got a couple of new, yes, new retreats. Bavsargra, it's back. She's beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna nerd out about Best Girl later. Let's start with the trailer, y'all. And of course, before we actually hop into it, let me just state right here that we do a lot of content on the Vanguard anime here on this channel. So if you got any theories, suggestions, what have you, then be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Trust me, I do listen. Now, with all that said, let's get it going. Starting the first part of the 3-course meal is the protein, you know, the meat and the potatoes, right? So that'll be the trailer. I'm gonna watch it the first time uninterrupted. And then the next time around, I'm gonna go like stop and starting and checking out stuff. So this is my first time watching this, so I wanna make sure that it's pure, right?
さあ、答えを聞かせてもらおうか、少年。
少年。
やあ。
Why don't you do Akina drip, by the way?
君に渡したいものがあるんだ。
俺がデラックスに。
強いファイターとのファイトを求めるなら、デラックスは最高の場所だと思うよ。
いよいよだね。
結構いい。
俺は花月。よろしく。領土アキナ君。君は何のためにヴァンガードをやってるんだ。
For what purpose do you play Vanguard? Oh, Vita. I knew they was gonna bring him back, bro. They ain't gonna abandon Levidras nonsense, dude. Shoot, Yobi Sugi got the drip too, yo.
ファイターたちと再び戦える。
Pass the
そ
torch
の
to
ために
Etica.
僕は戻ってきた。分かったんです。
I wanted to be fragile, though.
ヴァンガードは
Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, so I like the trailer. Oh god, I'm so excited for season 3, man. Let's watch a couple. There's a few moments I want to like stop and pause on to talk about here real quick. So the first one is like right at the opening here. So this right here, I already appreciate a lot because if you guys remember from season 2, there's a lot of promotional art where Akina and Kuon were right side by side with each other, implying kind of heavily that they were gonna fight. They did not. At all, the entire season, including when they got their kings. Now, I'm not sure if they'll actually get a chance to confront each other on Deluxe. That would be cool, and I'm not gonna probably win that fight. But one fight that he probably wouldn't win would be this fight right here. See, I personally believe, just by looking at this right now, right, and the setup of it, and the way that he's looking at it right now, because he looks like kind of determined, but he looks really nervous, right? So something tells me that this is a what do they call it, right? The exhibition match. This is the exhibition match between them, much like in the same way that Rika and Yugioh had an exhibition match. And if history repeats itself, then Akina's gonna get creamed in this, but it's gonna be good for his character because the main thing that Kagetsu, that's the name of this character, by the way, the main thing that Kagetsu said to him is, for what purpose do you play Vanguard? And that's actually very interesting to me because it brings up a very stellar point for Akina's character. Now that he's completed, like, he's cleared the Fated Clash and the Destined Showdown in a way, even though he lost his round in the Destined Showdown, he came back and, saved Now, he saved Hikari, he managed to basically get the perfect ending, right? So what exactly lies for him next in Vanguard, aside from just a few friendlies at school with Suo, right? What would he play Vanguard for anymore? And this is a theme that has kind of been repeated in other card game anime. I noticed it most particularly in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Yu-Gi-Oh! Rezael, which, spoilers for those, of course, but those are like decade-old anime, so, I'm not really going to complain about that, right? they both, after so many high stakes battles, kind of lost the thrill of Yugioh. That's their game, right? Yugioh. They lost the thrill of the game, and they didn't really know why it is that they bothered to play anymore. Why do they play? And the conclusion to both of them was they played because it was fun. When they first started, they thought it was fun, and they lost sight of that, right? So I wonder if Akina is going to get something similar here, except he hasn't really been in that many high stakes battles by comparison to them. So maybe it's too early for him to get jaded by that, and I'm just like overcomplicating the scenario here. However, that might be the direction they take it, which, I mean, I don't mind that, right? You know, the thrill of the fight and seeing the passion, all these other very professional top tier fighters might be the thing that gives some wind in Akina's sails. But still, this exhibition match, I'm very pleased with it. It means they're not going to jabate us on this matchup. It's going to happen at least once. So that's cool. And now a little bit further on here, right? Oh, by the way, the drip on some of these characters is just immaculate. Freaking Suo and Kuon both like bringing up the suits on me. That's great. That's effing awesome. By the way, can I just say, bro, not only does he look like Michiru, no, like him and Michiru, dude, they look like those kind of protagonists that I can't say the genre of, you know, they got that off-brand look to them, for real. Gui being here is kind of nice, and there's actually more of a confirmation that Gui is actually going to be participating in this in some of our later reveals here. So yeah, it's nice to see Gui back, man, and in a big way at that. So that's cool because you know, former villain actually gets a chance to redeem themselves. Kagetsu's kind of tall, yo. Can I just say, what the frick, yo? But there was one other thing I wanted to check out here from this, right? And it's not the Vita bit, right? Because I already mentioned the Vita bit just offhandedly while we were watching this the first time around, that, yeah, of course the Kings are coming back. Anyone who thought the Kings were coming back were probably just like overblowing what the Kings were. The fact is that these forms don't just disappear afterwards. Even in the lore, right? Rasetsu, Varga, they still maintain that power that they got from the from Sybil. So, and they're training on Lascaria's Island to try and master it. So if that lore wasn't enough, right? It's just in Vanguard anime as well. Even though a form kind of appears, it's not very often that a form disappears. Basically, when a form disappears, they would have to like make a show of it and tell you that it's going to disappear. Probably the principal example of this is Draconic Lord the Rebirth in season 3 of the OG series did have that, and Kai was saying, please, we got to finish this fight before this disappears, right? Much like with the other reverse units. So that was a precedent there, but there was no precedent set for this, so it made sense that these would come back, right? And I'm glad they did too, because come on, how are they going to sell product if you can't even use the form of the decks that were actually viable and usable in the anime, right? I'm not in the anime, in the TCG. This is cool as well, right? So Etica is getting to come back as well, but it seems like with the way Taizo is talking about it, it's like she basically gets a chance to prove herself on behalf of Anchor Bolt, so that more or less confirms that Taizo's not going to be a part of this, which is unfortunate. It's kind of sad, bro, but I mean, hell, F it. We did get a lot of Taizo action between the manga and also the Divinez, so I guess they wanted to make some space for some of like the other Wildress characters that didn't get their time to shine, so they're putting him on the backseat, and I think for this reason as well, Masanori's like hardly going to get a peep in the action here, so sorry, Masa fans, it's just not your season. And then there's one other thing, right? Ignis here. So Ignis is coming back. Now, there could still be a new grade 3 Dragil to accompany it, but I think the chances of that at this point is so minuscule that it's effective. It's suffice to say it's going to be cope, right? It's not happening. So we're going to be dealing with more Ignis from Michiru, unfortunately. Well, I say more Ignis, but more Ignis is for us. Michiru's been in a coma the entire time, so this is going to be the first time we actually see him play Ignis, which is going to be cool. The soundtrack is going to be great. The animation is going to be stellar. Ignis is a very cool looking unit. It's just not cool to play in the TCG. So it's a little unfortunate that this is likely going to be getting more support because it was just not very fun card design. And I really hope that because there's almost certainly not going to be a grade 3, that they don't take the easy way out and give this a ride fixer, because if they give it a ride fixer, it might be game over, because Ignis was very specifically a turn 4 card. This card is so wildly powerful. It basically takes like a full power like turn 4 stride play and compacts it all into one hyper consistent card that can just do that turn after turn after turn. This is ridiculous card design, right? So I hope that they really go easy on the support for it. It's just kind of disappointing that it does appear that Ignis is going to be the thing. But still, I guess we can hold out on the hope that there is going to be a new grade 3. But yeah, and that's basically like what I had to say about this trailer here. Overall, a really nice trailer. I do dig that they are confirming that matchup in the beginning here, right? Because God, I was really hoping that they would actually get to 5. So yeah, overall, like 9.5 out of 10, a stellar trailer. Definitely gets me more excited for this season, as I'm sure it does for a lot of you. So let's go ahead and get some character profiles, huh? So the big one to talk about is Suzune Kuon. Yeah, and here we go. Would you look at that? It's a freaking Cyberoid Vanguard. Yeah, I didn't even expect this whatsoever, but God, it fits so well, doesn't it? I mean, it's beautiful, it's cool, it takes a nice theming that we haven't made. It reminds me very much of Invisors when they made Steam Maidens into a proper archetype. This is what it reminds me of. They turned like the Cyberoid waifu into an actual archetype, which I think is splendid. God, I mean, I was gonna say it's pretty hot, but it also kind of fits her personality really well, right? You know, the very like calm, cool, icy kind of personality that fits with the sort of Link Joker aesthetic. But ooh, plot twist, check it down here. This is a Lyrical Monasterio unit, so yes, okay. Really happy that Bushy decided to give Lyrical some love here, because with the absence of Mikoto and unit, presumably there was going to be no Lyrical love, so where the heck was this going to pop on in? So honestly, great stuff here. The name of this unit, they have it down here, right? Lyrical Link Joker, yeah. The ace card is called Polyphonic Overdrive Artisaria. So Artisaria is a pretty cool unit, but we also got a nice tidbit here about Suzune to read over, so let's get into it. The sole daughter of the Rokuin, I guess it would be Rokuin, right? Yeah, so of the Rokuin family, renowned for producing generations of Vanguard professionals. Generations, dude. Like the stoic Suo Yobitsugi of the past, which I don't know why they use Suo as an example here instead of Michiru, considering Suo doesn't have competitive success and isn't widely renowned compared to Michiru, but I guess it's just because, you know, this is for us, the audience, more than anything, and relative to us, the audience, Suo is more at the forefront of our mind for this kind of like icy, like closed off emotional personality, right? Suzune rarely displays emotion and is nicknamed the Vanguard Machine. Methinks there's symbolism about the machinery. Methinks I do know what I thinks me am. She is always seen carrying a large jar of caramel candies. What the frick? What? Generations? Just how old is this game? But God, I know, dude. I know. Lyrical Link Joker, dude. That's awesome. But pick up the... Dude, where's the jar of candies? Great art, by the way. Just awesome. The character design here is definitely on point, as I'd expect no less from Divinez at this point, right? God, okay, so there's nothing I do not love here. The nation representation is on point. The art here is on point. The unit they chose is new. It's fresh. It's beautiful. And I honestly think that as far as theories for this unit goes, because I imagine you guys would want my take on it, I think it's going to be a very control-centric kind of deck. It has its own unique take on control, right? So something like it limits the amount of times your opponent can call in a turn, or maybe if your opponent has to pay a toll to attack, kind of like it was with the Absolute Zero Vanguard, but maybe it's a different kind of tool. I don't think it's going to lock though, but I could see the possibility where it does like bounce back to hand, but then your opponent is forced to like bind a card from hand afterwards. That could be a thing. If they want to take a little bit of like a different direction, if they're not focusing on the control element and the control is more of like a side part of it, then I could definitely see that this is like a ramp strategy. So maybe it tries to ramp up different kind of orders in the order zone, because Lyrical, right? The door is wide open on whatever playstyle you want when it regards to Lyrical, because Lyrical is the most open-ended nation of all the nations in Vanguard. They do just about any kind of gimmick under the sun, and we're no strangers to control in the past, like with Clarissa doing the Brawlers type style, and then Michu also has trace elements of retire, as well as like that one paralyzed card, which is kind of weird, but so be it, right? It's there. So I could totally see that while there is control, they could also do the set order stuff, because Lana Earl did set orders. There's like regular orders with Lutetia and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here for there to be an order gimmick, maybe a control gimmick. I'm thinking one of those two directions. If it is a ramp style, I'd probably say that there might be some wicked win condition behind it, just because it seems like one of those decks where you sort of have to wait for a moment and lead your opponent on before you gobsmack them out of nowhere. That seems to be kind of like her style, you know? She keeps quiet until the burst turn. So that's what I expect. So I hope they make it interesting, because God, I would not want to waste an artwork like this on like some big dumb beater. So the next card one to talk about is Etica Yugioh. So yeah, Etica is, as we already know, back, and she's confirmed to be using Keta Sanctuary over here. I really like the outfit they chose for her. It's cute, right? It's cute. It's got personality. The zipper is really big though. I don't know why that zipper is so cartoonishly big, but like it's not the only instance of that, because dude, this hood, I swear, this hood, you know what this hood reminds me. Oh god, I'm just gonna look this up right now. This hood reminds me of like a Krogan, dude. He's like some alien hood race thing. Like seriously. I don't know why, but yeah, they have some like really avant-garde clothing design. But you know, honestly, I think that's just a part of like the anime at this point. Like they really dress up their characters well. They play fashion guard like next level. I think the only thing that isn't really fashion guardy is Akina, who's sporting the, actually now that I think about it, I'm also sporting the white tee. Shoot, homie, maybe we really are the same. What's up, cuh? All right, anyway, so back to Etica here. So Etica also has a tidbit for her, which is that Hikari, Akina's younger sister from the future, so they call her Hikari at first. Interesting. Her existence was fading, but she merged with Gabrielius and stayed in this world as Etica. Okay, that's old news. She is a research trainee for the professional team Kirakota Anchorable. Ah, okay, so yeah, this confirms that yeah, she did in fact join Anchorable. But not as like an official real member, but she's not a full member, she's an apprentice. That's interesting. And this kind of compounds on what we saw with Suzune here, where they say it in her bio that she's from generations of Vanguard professionals. So it seems like professional Vanguard is kind of a dynasty in a way, right? It is very well established and respected and holds a lot of sway in the Vanguard universe. Not at all surprising for card game anime, of course, but still, maybe a little bit surprising for Vanguard, because Vanguard has traditionally played a more humble role in like the world that it resides in. I think the most like bombastic it's ever gone is like world invasion threats from like Link Joker, and then of course there's a lot of publicity around the tournaments, of course, but even in the original, right, it was pretty well regarded that Vanguard was something that not everyone knew about. Like Aichi's high school, that was a great example where a lot of people didn't even know what the frick Vanguard was. So it's a little bit interesting that we've gone upward from this point in terms of the popularity of this game, which I guess is just, go figure, right? This game was only going to go up from there. It's not like it ever really faced any real challenges in the anime that stopped it from being popular, I guess, aside from, of course, the world-ending threats, but that's sort of tangential to the point, right, guys? Anyway, so that's Etica's bit bio right here. It's nice to see that she's doing well. You know, it's cute. You know, she's smiling, she's confident and stuff. So it seems like this character is doing better for herself, which I'm really happy about, because man, after everything that happened to her in her original timeline, God bless her heart, man. Okay, so now on to some of the returning character bios. We've got Megami over here, which this honestly, I kind of dig the outfit. I'm not gonna lie, I think it kind of works for her. I don't know what's up with her looking like this though. They make her look like really aloof and serious, which just doesn't seem to really fit her personality, because last time I checked, she gets really like passionate and go-getter like on the turn of a dime. So this one almost seems like kind of misleading, right? Like this seems like the kind of art I would have expected from like freaking Suzune, you know what I mean? So then you've also got Raika over here at the drip, homie, and the boy Raika is smiling, dude. He's cracking a smile. You love to effing see it. Look at honestly, the character development in this guy is kind of sublime. I'm not even gonna lie, man. We already talked about Bichudu hunching over like he's gonna be like that big bad dog, right? And he's super top heavy with that huge jacket and string bean legs. And this right here, ooh, this one's like fun. So this one actually confirms that we're gonna be getting Cook Million again. So let's read some of the descriptions down below. So Megami Okuda, Soke, of course, the current leader of Team Blackout, a university student who picks up part-time work at a card shop. A young lady from a prestigious family, she excels in academics, sports, and mannerisms, making her a perfect scholar. Oh my. However, she is also competitive and tends to get heated easily. Does she? Does she really? I don't know. Doesn't look like it, Cap. Anyway, but okay, so this isn't really telling us anything that we didn't already know about Megami. That's actually kind of a disappointment in this case, because as a lot of us who have been veterans to Overdress, Will, Dress, Divines, all that jazz, one of the overarching complaints of Megami is that her character gets dropped too often and her character development is very stunted, if at all existent. this doesn't really help her case at all. There's nothing here to really latch onto to say that she's developing other than how she's already developed. So this just already restates what we saw in Divinez, which is good. Don't get me wrong. I actually liked her in Divinez. I thought that she was like a much more appealing character than she was in Wildress, right? But this doesn't give us anything more to latch onto. Like, why is she competing other than just to compete as the leader of Team Blackout, right? So just to kind of quote Kagetsu again, for what purpose do you play Vanguard? There's a really real possibility that she might get jobbed in round 1 and made an example of because of her title as the leader of Team Blackout. I don't know who would job her necessarily, but sheesh, man, it's not looking too good, especially because there's also no new Magnolia retrain. So we're just kind of we're here again with Magoldia, as I think the meme on stream was when I was doing a stream with it. I called it Magoldia. That's kind of where we're at with it. It's just Elder again. Oh well, Stoichea, this probably isn't going to be your season. Kuon might get jobbed too, so Kuon, Megami, not even any hint of Masanori. Get gutted, I guess. Raika Kashiba, so this is actually a really small little snippet here. Having graduated from high school, he is currently a member of the professional team Tyrannog. Calm and composed, he never neglect efforts to win. Nice. His goal is to eventually surpass Michu. This tidbit right here, at first blush, right, would seem like it's nothing new, but this actually confirms something for me, relatively speaking, that is very crucial about his path through Deluxe here. So Raika, the homie, right? They say that his goal is to surpass Michiru. And for those of you who watched Wildress will know, in season 2, episode 11, right? He lost to Michiru. He lost really badly. In fact, Michiru made him look like a scrub. I'm not even going to cap with you. So this is a good chance for a rematch. It's almost certain that they're going to be having a rematch fight in the Deluxe stage. And I think that Raika is going to take it. There's 2 reasons why. One, I think Raika's character development is at a point where I think he deserves to take this, right? Not only that, it would make sense for him to win because he's been working nonstop, constantly pushing himself, surpassing himself. He deserves to beat Michu. He really deserves it. So I think he's finally at a point in his professional career that he could legitimately take out Michu despite his relatively impressive pedigree as a fighter. But there's also one more thing to note about that. I believe that he's going to lose after he beats Michiru. See, Raika's character, his goal is to defeat Michiru, is to surpass him. So that's his purpose for playing Vanguard in this tournament, presumably, right? Other than, I guess, just playing professionally. So after he beats Michiru, boom. He did the main #1 thing he would want to do in this tournament. He feels like he could hang his jersey on the rafters, homie. Now, he's not going to, of course. He's still going to play very seriously until the very end, and he would hate to lose in the tournament. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of fulfillment and gratification from being able to fight his idol and beat him and surpass him, that's enough for Raika. So I think he can get a good conclusion in this tournament without actually winning the whole thing by just beating Michiru. So they got a really good through line there. So I'm very pleased about that. Next is Michiru Hazama. So he was the former under-20 world champion, as we already knew. He's usually absent-minded, but when it comes to Vanguard, becomes sharp and focused. Go figure. After remaining in the cybernetic space to master Vanguard, he has been in a coma ever since. So nothing new here, unfortunately. I do have kind of an interesting theory about this, twofold actually. This coma might have actually changed the ballgame for Michiru a bit. For one, maybe he was practicing Vanguard while in a coma the entire time. Maybe there's something going on in his mind where he's still constantly replaying battle scenarios in his head, almost like he's got some AI data stuck inside of his head. But that's just kind of a basket case theory, right? And I've got another basket case theory too, which is, you notice how they didn't even bring up his ability to see souls at all, nor had they brought up Urara as well, or Halana, who also have these sort of like supernatural abilities regarding Vanguard. Something tells me what if after the coma he lost that ability? Like he can no longer see those flames inside of people's souls. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be an interesting way to get a departure from the supernatural side of things that we got started in Wildress. I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's still going to have it just willy-nilly. They're just not bringing it up because they just didn't feel like getting the synopsis here. It's not entirely relevant to his character as far as they're concerned. But it is kind of an interesting theory, and I thought I'd throw it out there just in case it turns out to be correct there. Maybe the coma stripped him of that particular ability to see souls. And then the final one we're going to go over is now Inabe. There's actually one other I want to check out, but now Inabe is actually kind of interesting. So A university student majoring in literature, sometimes it's easy to forget that. A senior at the family restaurant, Akina works part-time. With a caring and straightforward personality, she is liked by everyone. Currently, she is striving to make her mark as a rookie professional fighter. So, the thing I want to make about that, right? She's trying to make her mark as a rookie professional fighter. My theory, she's going to win Deluxe. Not Akina, not Raika. I think now is going to win Deluxe. Here's the reason why. Her purpose in this tournament is to become a professional fighter. So there's a lot riding on her success in this tournament. And I firmly believe that she will actually be able to sweep the tournament and take home the gold. And this will be her inception point as a full-fledged professional fighter. She will be able to make true the wish she had during the Fated Clash, all by herself, without the use of Design Force. And I think that would be awesome for her. That's how the story ends. And also, of course, the Now Sims everywhere would just like cheer. They would like cry and say that there is a god if that happened. But on top of that, it also is worth noting that there's a very particular thing that I think is going to happen if this is the direction that Bushi takes with it, right? Where Akina is going to fight against her mentor Kagetsu, right? And I think he's going to lose. But then I think he's also going to potentially lose to Kagetsu again. But by fighting Kagetsu and taking all that battle experience from him, he'll be able to help Now out and help her train to beat her sensei. And this is a really cool turnaround because, as we know, Now Senpai has been there for Akina and helping him train in some of his most important matches, particularly against like Taizo and whatnot, right? So to be able to do the same for his senpai in return and finally pay her back for it, I think that's a really cool character moment for them, right? And whether or not it's a platonic relationship is really not what matters about this. The fact of the matter is they have a bond with each other, and I think this is a great way for them to grow the bond and also sort of subvert expectations that Akina somehow sweeps, when in reality, as far as experience goes, I don't think he even nearly sizes up to most of the people. I mean, guys, let's be real. The Fated Clash is just a 6-man locals with the most exorbitant prizing on the planet. That's really what it is, right? So Akina doesn't exactly have the most prestigious pedigree out there, and he hasn't been playing for that long, so I don't think he even really deserves to win the whole thing. And there's no grand stakes here, so it's not like there's some sort of plot driving him to win this, right? One last one I want to talk about here real quick is Gui. So everyone else I've looked over has just been like the same old, which Kuon is actually kind of unfortunate in my opinion, because it is actually just the same old, and like with freaking Megami, I was hoping for a little bit more because they really rushed his character and he felt like either underutilized or overutilized, depending on how you look at it, and overutilized might be an even worse insult considering how little they actually did with him. And yeah, there's nothing new here to really indicate that there's going to be some really grand reason for him participating other than Suwo probably wants to go, so he'll go too, and he's a boy genius, so Jinky's like, you know what, you qualify, come on in, right? So anyway, back to Gui. So this one's actually kind of cool. It says, an AI program developed by Jinky's late brother, Shinji. It has gained self-awareness and is currently conducting daily research on fun fights. So this is cool because that means that rather than like trying to become the ultimate fighter and bring the ultimate fight and make everyone to a homogenous card fighting entity, is now focusing on fun fights. So this is the purpose for Gui to be in this tournament, is presumably to analyze what makes Vanguard fun and compelling, and why do all these competitive players actually play Vanguard, right? So I would imagine this might actually be kind of sad if like Suzune played against Gui, because Suzune probably just does it because her family pushes her to do it and she didn't actually want to do this, hence why she's like the machine, because she has no heart in the game. So that would be kind of an interesting interaction. I can also see another interaction where Gui fights against Akina himself, right? And so Akina, let's remember, the main headline phrase is, for what purpose do you play Vanguard? If Akina is unsure of his answer to that question, fighting against Gui could be massively helpful here, because Gui has compiled a lot, like a plethora of different reasons for why different of the top fighters actually play Vanguard. The different joys, expectations, bonds they've made from it. And so he can relay all that to Akina and help Akina come to his own revelation regarding his own purpose to fight. So honestly, I'm just happy that Gui is back here. And not only is Gui back here, but as we saw here, we got some retrains, baby. So I'm gonna try and hold myself back, but this is so peak, yo. Oh my god, set 7 is gonna be the best set ever, yo. BAVS is back. She's beautiful. She's awesome. I love the art here. The extra like embroidery on the white like sash, the bit of pink highlights, which really help her blue pop out. The roses are beautiful, the petals, and just her overall expression, right? She looks more elegant and at peace compared to her very stern, stoic, and almost angry confutation in the original artwork, right? And the artwork is also really interesting because she's still very center facing, relatively speaking, with the wings there. And you can kind of see off on the side here, you can see what appears to be the two sealed blazed weapons that are going to be accompanying her. I don't know if the way the art lines up, if that means that it's going to be compatible with the previous sealed blaze and they'll look like they're still a part of her, or if what's going to happen is she's going to have an entirely new roster of weapons at her disposal, right? So maybe she has like a new Prithivi, which costs less for the damage ping. Maybe she has a new Swayambu, which does more shield instead of just the 10k once, right? So just upgrades to her arsenal, which I mean would be good for upgrading Bavsargra because a lot of her power came from the weapons, of course. But it is also a little unfortunate because if that's the case, then it's unlikely to be backwards compatible, and that's why the artwork does look different from the original artwork. That's always been one of the aesthetical issues with Bavsargra getting support, is they always had to kind of line up what her art looked like. So now it seems like they're just taking the brave step forward and saying F it to that. So I do wonder how this lines up. It is very possible though that I'm like overblowing it and these actually still relatively look like they fit the other weapons, or maybe even if they don't, right? Then they're saying F it, you can still use it anyway. And so just from even though it takes points away from the aesthetical aspect of it, right? It does gain points in that, well, it's a upgrade. And as for what this upgrade would do, my number one assumption is that she is probably going to add a lot more pressure to this freaking game plan, right? Because the deck is 3 huge attacks, with the Vanguard attack usually having Battle Door and critical and things like that. So I wonder if she wouldn't do things for her homies, like give criticals to her rear guards, or maybe it's more Vanguard centric still and she's gonna like restand herself, or maybe she'll have like an even more devastating guard punish to her to accompany what the other like pressure elements of the deck are. There's a lot of ways to take it. I could also see where the deck has like just a more raw value to it, so it really hinges on the board build and destroy element, where she can build back board super easy, like even easier than ever before. And it's no longer a front row wipe, but it's actually just an entire field wipe. That would be kind of cool because aside from like Gandiva and Eugene do it one at a time, and Rasetsu is a field wipe, but even it's like sort of like conjunction, front row first and then back row. So maybe they could try to do something similar with her as well. So there's a lot of directions to be taken to Bavsargra, but you could really only go up from here because Bavsargra did need some help. It's still a pretty competent deck, especially in the right hands, right? I mean, I have firsthand experience there, right? With all the battles we've had on stream with it, you guys know I can play a mean Bavsargra, right? But I think even with all that, right, as far as display goes, there's still so much that you can do with this deck. So I'm really, really happy that we weren't debated about the whole Cerulean Blaze bit. We are, in fact, getting Best Girl back. I can't wait. Can't wait. Oh, also Griffogila here. Yeah, Griffogila super poggers, right? And this would be a good time for me to transition over to the names here. So the names are Sealed Blaze of Arbitration, Bavsargra Aksaya. So I'm not sure what Aksaya means. I don't like speak Hindu or anything like that. But Sealed Blaze of Arbitration is interesting because it probably puts into perspective what happens to her in lore now. See, she's really important in lore these days because her sort of despair universe that she was trying to push the world towards, it still exists as a parallel dimension. And that parallel dimension is where Amorta was actually spawned from. As you know, Amorta is very crucial in Rezael's story, thus the story of Divinez relative to Cray lore. So Bavsargra is very important, right? And I think that her presence in lore is going to get even bigger with this. Being the Sealed Blaze of Arbitration gives the idea that, yeah, she might actually try to solve disputes in the world as a sort of like a god judge of Cray, right? Which I guess makes sense, right? You know, I mean, it's not like Nirvana can do it all by themselves, right? So Bavsargra sort of takes up the mantle of being the mediator of the world, which is good because it's a redemption for her. Actually, that's something that's kind of interesting about these, is these look like 2 redemption units, right? Griffogila is called Dragon Tree of Advent Seraphigila. So well, no, it's, yeah, Sephirogila. Sephirogila as in seraph, so angel, like angel, right? So I'm sorry, I can't speak today for some reason. Angel, what the frick, man? So we're talking about an angelic Griffogila, one that's presumably a good seedling hatched from the rebirth of its previous form. You can see it's one with nature. It looks like it's relatively tranquil. I mean, how this one right here actually looks like it's smiling a little bit, which is kind of cute in its own way. This one too. You can see the parrots just flying on by with it. So yeah, it seems like Gryffogila is a good guy now, which makes sense because both Mide and Gui are sort of reformed villains. So that seems to be kind of like the undertone between these is reformed villains, not to repeat myself too much here. As for what Gryffogila could do, I just don't effing know. If they wanted to maintain the use of Dragon Tree markers, it's very likely that the Dragon Tree markers and OT win condition might have been thrown on its head instead, and so it has an entirely new win condition towards it. But I fully expect that this is like a win con type deck where you just have to sort of ramp your way towards the end game. I just have no clue. I couldn't even begin to fathom what it is with Dragon Tree. So honestly, for you commenters down below, do let me know your thoughts on Dragon Tree, because I'm sort of drawing a blank here as of now, right? I'm also kind of tired, not gonna lie, but I just saw this as I woke up this morning. I'm like, I've got to make a video on it right now, not tomorrow, not after breakfast, now, bro. So that's kind of why I'm drawing a blank on Griffo as well. So yeah, let me know down below what your thoughts are. Theories on what it is that Bavsargra could do, theories on what it is that our new polyphonic overdrive character here can do. Again, I think it's going to be control or some sort of like turbo based on your set orders, but you know, that's just me based on the aesthetic here, right? So it could be any number of things. Ultimately, that's going to do it for the reveals here today. Super hype stuff. I'm very happy with everything that happened here, and it seems like we're full steam ahead to Divine Season 3, baby. I don't know if we're gonna get any more reveals up until the advent of the series itself, but assuming that there isn't, I'm still gonna keep up to date here and try to see if y'all are still hype on the eve before the first reveals, and you bet your sweet dollars that I'm going to be there doing a reaction on the dot, because God, the Vanguard anime, it's one of the highlights of the channel for sure. So I'm raring to go, and I hope y'all are as well. Anyway, I look forward to seeing your guys' comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts yet again, and if you're looking for other Vanguard content in the meantime, do be sure to check out my channel. We've got the other reaction, so if you are seeing this wave of news but not the previous wave of news, I just did that as well as my last video, so you can go ahead and check up on that as well. But if you're looking for other content, we do fight nights, top 10s, discussions, of course, anime reactions. We do a bit of everything, really. So go ahead and check it out. And if you like what you see, consider leaving a subscribe and notification bell for next time we upload a video. With that said, take care. God bless.